Hello, everyone. How are you? Fine, thank you.
Let's make our first fucking map! And also some spawner shit. As always, we'll have all of this done by the end. So if this is what you want to make, let's go. So you can make the map however you want, but because I'm using Dead Ops Arcade as inspiration, mine are going to be like enclosed spaces with doors. And I have a little asset pack. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. So I'm just going to be using that to make it. So right now, you're going to get a cute little time lapse of me making that. Alright, so I've got my enclosed space set up, and one thing I want visually is for this area to be like enclosed off from the outside. Yes, we got walls and all of that, but I don't want to see beyond them. Now, there may be a better way of doing this, but this is how I'm going to do it. First, I'm going to create a new plane in the scene and turn cast shadows to off. Then, I'll create a new material and call it fog. At the top, go to Universal Render Pipeline, Particles, Unlit. Now, find your render pipeline asset which you're using, in my case it will be High Fidelity, and turn the depth texture tick box to on. Now on your material, set it to transparent, and in advanced options, tick soft particles. When you then apply this material to your plane and increase the far value, you'll see that you get this kind of gradient fog on your plane. I'm just going to surround my room with 4 of these planes at an angle, making it so that the player can't see outside of the room that they're in. Earlier, I put the walls and objects inside of this room as a child of an empty game object called Room 1 Objects. So I'm going to child my fog to this, as we'll be able to use this for future gameplay. Alright, we're looking good. Now let's start spawning our enemies. Create a new empty game object called Zombie Spawner, and also create a new script called Zombie Spawner. Inside, we'll get a reference for our zombie to spawn, a private float for a random initial spawn time, a minimum spawn and a maximum spawn timer. In our start, we'll set the random initial spawn to a random range between the minimum and the maximum time. Then, start a coroutine of begin zombie spawn and pass in this random initial spawn time. Below, create the IEnumerator of begin zombie spawn with a parameter of spawn time. Set spawn time to a random range between the minimum and the maximum, and wait for seconds by that spawn time. Then spawn the zombie at this position and rotation. Finally, do the coroutine again so that we get an endless spawning loop. If you haven't already, for this to work, we're going to need our zombie to be a prefab, so I'm going to go back into our testing environment that we were in last video, and I'm going to turn that zombie into a prefab so that I can spawn him. Now, go to AI, Nav Mesh Surface, and bake the scene. I've also added an agent ignore layer, which on my include layers will not be selected, so that my player doesn't get baked into the scene, and I can also customize that a little bit. Now if we press play, you'll see that zombies are spawning, however they're just running on the spot. This is because when they're spawned in, they do not have a reference to the player. To fix this, we're going to go back into our enemy script, and on start, we're going to set the player game object to equal gameObject.find player. Now whenever they spawn in, they should start chasing the player. With this now working, we want to slightly alter how the zombie's collision capsule is functioning. The issue that we have right now is that when we kill a zombie, their capsule collider is still there, meaning when they die, you can't shoot any of the zombies directly behind them until they despawn, which isn't really ideal. To fix this, we'll go into our enemy script, and inside we'll get the capsule collider component and set is enabled to false, turning it off immediately when they die, when this function is called, allowing us to shoot enemies behind them when they're killed. Ah, shit, don't look, I forgot to change the spawn times! So without making any mistakes like in the past, like that would never be me. This is what we should have now, and if you ask me, I think it's pretty cool. So with some basic gameplay in, I think it's now time to start adding some quality of life stuff. Like one thing that's really grating on me every time I test this is the fact, 1, I don't know how much ammo I've got, and 2, I can't reload when I want, which is really fucking annoying. So we're going to quickly make that functionality right now. So really quick, before we start doing our reload, I'm going to just create a UI with a bit of text, which will be what houses how we're displaying what the ammo count is to the user. After I've done this, I'm going to go into our assault rifle script and quickly add a variable of TextMesh Pro UGUI. For us, this is what we're going to be displaying the ammo count to. Then go to our update method, and below the reload return, we'll say that if the R key is pressed down and the current ammo is less than the magazine size, we'll begin our reload coroutine. To display how much ammo the player has, we'll set the ammo UI text to the current ammo, add a little plus, add a slash, and then display our magazine size. Now if you've set up your UI correctly, we'll see that our ammo count will lower whenever we shoot and will reload whenever we press R. Alright, so that'll be it for today. Next time we'll continue working on this reload by maybe adding like a reload sound effect for it, and we'll also look at gamifying our rooms a bit more, maybe adding in waves of zombies that get spawned, maybe make a start on our room transitions, but main thing will be that we're really getting started on our game manager and gameplay loop. So, see you then.